Alright, let's get into it. Because yesterday was one of those market days where politics, tech, and central banks all decided to show up at the same time. Hey everyone, it's Saturday morning, January 24th, and welcome back to Capital Markets Quickie. I'm your host, Endrit Sella, here to break down yesterday's market action in just 2 minutes. Quick note before we dive in. Today's episode is brought to you by AMF Capital Asset Management Frankfurt. Learn more about our funds and strategies at amf-capital.de. Alright, let's get started. U.S. stocks ended the session mixed as Wall Street wrapped up a pretty turbulent week. A lot of that volatility came from President Trump's heated back and forth over Greenland, while chipmaker Intel got hit hard after disappointing earnings guidance. The Dow Jones Industrial Average fell roughly 0.6%. The Standard & Poor's 500 edged slightly higher on the day, but still closed the week in the red. The Nasdaq Composite managed a gain of about 0.2%. Both the Dow and the Standard & Poor's 500 are now looking at back-to-back weekly losses. Intel was clearly the big corporate story. Late Thursday, the company issued weaker-than-expected guidance for the first quarter, raising fresh doubts about its turnaround efforts. Intel swung to a quarterly loss and struggled to meet demand for server chips used in artificial intelligence data centers. As a result, the stock dropped more than 16% yesterday. Now, earlier in the week, markets had caught a bit of a break. Investors welcomed signs that Trump was cooling his rhetoric on Greenland and walking back proposed tariffs on NATO allies. That short-term relief helped stocks bounce for 2 sessions, but by the end of the week, that momentum had clearly faded. Under the surface, a shift away from U.S. assets seems to be picking up speed. Rising tensions between the U.S. and Europe put pressure on the dollar, while gold headed for its strongest weekly performance since 2020. Silver also surged, climbing above $100 per ounce. Over in geopolitics and tech, there were some encouraging signs on the U.S.-China front. TikTok and ByteDance finalized a deal with Oracle and partners that allows the platform to continue operating in the United States. At the same time, Beijing reportedly gave China's major tech companies the green light to begin preparing new orders for advanced artificial intelligence chips from NVIDIA. Looking ahead, investors are bracing for a massive week. A heavy earnings calendar is coming up, along with the Federal Reserve's policy meeting and interest rate decision. President Trump also said he has already chosen his preferred candidate for the next Fed chair and plans to announce a replacement for Jerome Powell soon. So yeah, politics, earnings, central banks, and commodities all collided yesterday. And next week doesn't look any quieter. Alright, that wraps up today's Capital Markets Quickie. Join me again Monday morning for more market updates. See you then.